One of the AFL media's biggest moguls has made the move to cut costs. It was done live on air, and the reasoning caused some questions. Even one of their longtime colleagues fired a shot at them, which led to an awkward on-air confrontation. Another Channel 7 star was caught in a small issue at the MCG, despite promoting what seemed to be the main cause of it. And finally, the AFL's new GM is in the house and looking to make sweeping changes very quickly. But we have to start with RSN's radio station. If you didn't know, Craig Hutchinson once again splashed the cash, roughly $3.25 million, and bought RSN, which is Victoria's leading racing radio station. It was a strategic buy to partner with the well-known Sports Entertainment Network, or better known SEN, and was announced on the 8th of July. But the big news came with the cancellation of a long-time pairing on the network. Daniel Harford and Michael Felgate's shows, Breakfast with Half and Racing Pulse, will no longer be on RSN. Now, a media release was put online the day before to announce the decisions, but the real kicker came when Hutchison went on Felgate's show, and to many long-time listeners, it was the first time they heard the announcement that the show was about to end. "I've got to start with the elephant in the room," Felgate said in his interview with Hutchison. An announcement yesterday came out that there will be programming changes. Breakfast with Half and this show Racing Pulse will no longer exist under the new regime. "Just talk us through, what's the reasoning behind that?" Felgate asked. It came out of nowhere and would have caught listeners off guard. Now, Hutchison did make it clear the move was not personal, but purely based on the transition he wants the radio station to take. They're both magnificent shows, so no disrespect at all to the quality of the programming and to the identities involved. You in particular, Michael, and also Daniel, who have been incredible servants to RSN. There's nothing personal about cancelling either of the programs. We need to invest, over time, into the racing product. It's a racing station. The new direction the radio station will be taking is pretty clear. After the 29th of August, the last date the shows will be aired, SEN will be heard in a syncast on RSN. Fireball Monday and Friday with David King and Kane Corns will be one of those shows, as will SEN Breakfast with Gary Lyon and Tim Watson from Tuesdays to Thursdays. So it makes Hutchison's final statement seem a little off. The legacy of this place is a huge responsibility ongoing, and our job is to preserve it, protect it, and enhance it. So we will absolutely be investing in the racing coverage. We're going to be racing long term, my word. We're in racing for the long haul. So putting AFL shows on the network in the near future is an interesting call. But it didn't end there. Hutchison was called out for the way he ended the two RSN programs. It was done by his longtime colleague in Caroline Wilson on the Agenda Setters. Set up by Rewalt in a section called The Spill, the former St Kilda captain put the vague question to Wilson. The hour on air of the Agenda Setters is the highest risk of all. The longtime Age reporter replied, "Well, certainly if you're on air with Craig Hutchison. There is no disrespect I should say, to Michael Felgate or Daniel Harford for that matter. But if you're going to remove me from the show, can you please not do it with me on air?" Not bad from Caro, to be honest, and of course Hutchison was not happy with her jab, saying what she did was nothing to joke about. There was a press release the day before, and there was a mature two-way conversation on air, and you're making light of it, which is disappointing, a seemingly hurt Hutchie replied. Wilson then had the last word, scoffing as she said, "Oh, grow up." It was a bit odd to put in the middle of an AFL show, but shows no one is safe from Wilson when she takes aim. It also happens that MCC people are not safe from other MCC people. This little story popped up with the Front Bar's host Andy Marr. The longtime AFL presenter and die-hard Carlton fan was not impressed when he had this interaction with another fan who was clearly intoxicated. Marr told News Corp, "Dave Hughes was sitting 4 rows behind me, and my attention was caught back by Hughesy saying, 'You can't say that to the old bloke. You've crossed the line. Take it back. Apologise.' Then this bloke looked up at me and saw me sitting there, and I said, 'Mate, just shush.' That was it. Then he came over to me and said, 'Andrew Marr, I know you. You will listen to me.' He was pissed and wouldn't sit down, so then he got chucked out. But the best part was Ma's annoyance with blokes getting too intoxicated at the football. It just so happens that Ma hosts the front bar, whose major sponsor is Hahn, and each of the panel members and the special guest is seen with a beer next to them. Ma said too much of this was happening. There's too many blokes going and getting drunk at the footy these days. There's too much of it, he said. There's too many blokes going to the footy. Go to the footy and having a few beers, by all means. But why do so many people have to go to the footy and get 3 sheets to the breeze? Why does that happen? In the end, he does have a good point, even though he might slightly contradict himself a little bit. And the final bit of important media news is to do with a new documentary, Box to Box Films, which is most well known for their F1 Drive to Survive series, is doing an AFL project. It's set to follow Fremantle, GWS, the Western Bulldogs, Gold Coast and Brisbane on their way to fighting for a final spot. Cameras will be allowed in the club's inner sanctums, but it does look like it will follow certain players in these teams. SEN reported, sources said the concept revolved around the star players in each side, such as Marcus Bonampelli and Toby Green, and their journey rather than the broader club. This is great, and hopefully the series gets finished and put out at a good time. It will be available on Amazon and follows on from Channel 7, who did a pre-season documentary called Full Sweat that followed Hawthorn. Seems like clubs are opening up much more, and it's only a good thing for us footy fans who want to see more of what goes on in the inner workings. And finally, Greg Swan is at AFL House. His final day as Brisbane CEO was the round 19 game against the Western Bulldogs. He's now the general manager of football operations and has some big tasks ahead of him, speeding up the game, helping out the umpires and sorting out ruck contests are just a few of the pressing issues on his table. He will have the rest of the season to sort out what he wants to change and how, so I think we can all expect new changes at the start of the 2026 season. Insisting he won't be making radical changes to the game, Swan is also eager to see the umpires throw the ball up rather than bouncing it in the centre of the ground. While AFL traditionalists often call on the league to leave the game alone, Swan flagged innovation as being crucial to the competition's ongoing success. It's the best game there is, but the reason for that is we keep trying to make it better, and I think that's what we should do, he said. Swan is the experienced football person Andrew Dillon has needed, so it's over to Swan to put the pieces together.